Before we get into today's awesome video, you can see here, got new hats, different types of camo, black, gray, blue, you name it. I've got all sorts of hats. Check out the link here. Is it here? It's somewhere here. Click on it. Support your brother. The hats, I think, are 25 bucks, and I think it's like $3 or $4 for shipping. So just, you know, support your brother. They're snapback. We got flex fit. We got them all. I even got some different, like, athletic style hats. There's a ton on there. Check out the website, guys, and help me out. And now let's get into the video.
Okay. It's back. All right. Engine's back from Tom over at IAG Performance. Well, really, it's just Tom Barbosa. They build the engine over there, but it's back. Like, look at it. So, had to do a few little upgrades, had a few little issues. Yeah, things were a little messed up. We had the skirt coating got drug off of the pistons after going through it a little bit. We had quite a few things gone wrong. So I think it had to do with multiple things. One, the car had been tuned originally very rich, the high injector output. So I have it at 60% duty cycle. So like you're running not 60% duty cycle, sorry, 60 PSI fuel for base pressure. So it had a very high base pressure, which then causes extra wall wetting is what I'm thinking. Again, I don't know for sure. This is all my thoughts, my hypotheticals. I'd actually expressed this to Tom, so I'm going to try and bump that down a little bit because unlike a race car where it's fine because it's a short-term scenario, when these cars are idling all the time and you're sitting there, it's pushing past those rings. At least this is my theory. I don't know, so I'm thinking maybe that was part of it because actual fuel table and stuff looks pretty darn good after I retuned the car. Everything looked really good. The car drove great. It's the only thing I can really think of. It was just pushing past the rings. It definitely saw detonation from doing anti-lag and stuff, so I need to tone that down a little bit. He did mention like this is the last of this block. So this is the last time this block will be able to be used. Like if it needs to be quote unquote rebuilt, the head has more life in it, but the block's done. We've decked it enough that that's that. So that's not the end of the world. Hopefully this engine lasts me 10 years. If I maintenance it properly and take care of a few things, it should last me for quite some time. One other thing he had mentioned, Tom being that person, was, with ED5, what it can do to your engine, the lifespan it takes out of it, what it can do to it by running it so hard all the time, versus running a enriched fuel, something like Sunoco or VP racing fuel. It seems to give better lifespan for that engine, for the injectors. Everything seems to be a little bit happier. So depending what I'm doing, I might switch over to a race gas, like Ignite, VP, Sunoco, something of that nature. Again, that's all something I'm thinking about. I'm not 100% sure yet. So we'll go down that path when that time comes. So yeah, I am just look at it. Before we go more into this, I'm trying to think, what else did we do? We did, I should say go more into this. We did do diamond pistons. So we had to upgrade the pistons. I'll show you my pistons. We could have tried salvaging them, but the skirt got pretty messed up and it was a coated skirt, thank God. The rod bearings, mint. The rods themselves, the Cali rods, mint. Crank, mint. The bearings had a little bit of itty bitty wear on two of them, like he said, microscopic, but again, they were pretty mint. Most of the damage was done on the bore of the cylinder, which from wall wetting and stuff, and then this, the skirt of the piston itself definitely saw some good damage, which I'll show you guys here. So we went from an 82.25 setup to now it's 82.5. Which is typical. So that's the one nice thing that we did do. So we didn't have to thin out the walls anymore. We went to a typical size because we started out a lot smaller than usual with 82.25. So now we bumped it up to 82.5. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Again, stock crank, put the oil pans on. This has been timed this time around. So what I mean by that is they actually had to get this up. We have adjustable cam gears, intake side, and they needed 4 degrees of retardation. And I think, the exhaust side was 4 degrees and the intake side was 1 degree. So I take that back. So 4 degree retarded on the exhaust side and only 1 degree on the intake side. Again, still using BC 276 cams, factory buckets, and it's all whole BC head, springs, retainers, valves, the whole works. Trying to think if there's anything else. Of course, we got the Powerhouse Racing plugs in it here. We've got these fancy covers. Check these out. These things are so cool for transport. We took the engine today. I was like, man, that's a really neat, trick little piece. Trying to think if there's anything else. Typical timing setup, factory timing belt, all that good stuff. And yeah, so let's go look at some of the damage and some of the parts that came back. All right, guys, so the bearings came back. I'm not going to pull all this crap out here, some of the cert clips or C-clips to hold this stuff in, but he gave me my pistons back, and right here, you could see it was dragging against the wall there.
See a little bit of damage on the top, nothing crazy. And again, that's kind of, you'd see not all pistons got it, but you can see a nice gash right there in that one. But not all the skirts got it, but you can see a lot of them got wore down. And the whole point of that coating is to try and alleviate anything catastrophic happening. If we didn't have that coating on there, probably would have failed, probably been a catastrophic failure. But yeah, fortunately it was not. I'm going to throw most of this stuff away when done. Again, he gave me every nut, bolt back, even the OEM stuff, the extra buckets. So there's a few buckets he had to replace to get it perfectly timed, and just gave me like things like bearings back. The dumb things. He gave me like some of the dumbest things back, which is good though. He gives you every little piece back that is yours. I forgot I had sent these in. So yeah, I am going to now start putting the rest of the parts on, put the exhaust manifold on, the new intake manifold. That's right, you heard that correct. New intake manifolds here. Just want to start assembling because I have the parts, put the valve covers back on. It'll help clear things off my table over there that's been sitting forever and it's been driving me nuts. So I digress. Let's start putting some of the parts back on. And to go over some parts that we're going to be putting back on here. Actually, this one will go back on. That is a drain plug. I actually have another one on it. This is your drain relief. This goes on the exhaust side. This is actually what lets you drain all the coolant out of the engine. Most people block this off. You don't want to do that. I mean, it's blocked off from when it's running, but you want to keep this fitting because it allows you to bleed the coolant out if you need to do that. These two BSPT, not NPT fittings, go into the intake side of the block. There's two holes there. One is like an oil port. The other one's where they rifle drill the engine, for the oil feed to go to the other side of the engine. So you need to block those both off. And these are OEM bolts left behind. Same with this here. Same with the crank bolt, all that good stuff. Same here. This I'm gonna throw in that box over there. Along with, I see that I need to put a pilot bearing in. So that's good information, write that down. And these had to be, I know exactly where these go. Go to the back of the block here. Actually, no, he didn't leave those in. Where did this go? So, I'm gonna have to ask him because I'm trying to think here. There's the two that go on for the oil pump unless you put different ones on. I'm trying to think where these went, that he took these out. Now it's going to rack my brain. To me in a second, I'll add it in the video, but there's that. Gaskets and stuff that I need to put back on the engine here that I sent along. Again, these are more extra bolts, but bolts I need to put on the engine yet. So like the water pump. He didn't use the oil pan bolts. Not sure. I guess he used the other stainless steel ones. Timing belt tensioner. Again, I don't know why. I gave him these bolts so he could use them. Rear main seal housing, so he did use those. Timing belt guide, upper rear timing plate, which I had. I think a lot of that was titanium, lower timing plate. So I had a lot of that stuff in titanium, just like some of these bolts here. So yeah, I am going to sort through this real quick and start assembling. I'm going to put these plugs in, and I'm also going to start putting the rest in. So these motor mounts were pretty well new. They were powder coated. They are just extremely dirty right now. Look at the difference. See how dull that is, clean that is. That just shows you how dirty this stuff is from just sitting here. Can get most of these parts on. I am waiting for a new billet lower timing cover, so I'm selling my current billet setup and I'm going with a new one. Nothing wrong with these, as I ran them forever. They're powder coated, a satin black. I've just decided there's these other ones that are more OEM look, so if this video's out in time, if I haven't already sold them, hit me up, but they'll most likely be sold by then. So I'm going to sell both of them, the lower and the upper. One thing I want to show too, with these billet timing gears, they also offer now, they have a titanium gear, but I didn't need that. They have this titanium nut and bolt, which was pretty tricky. I was like, hey Sam, can I have those? Because those are badass. I love that he kept Powerhouse Racing at the top, like he lined it all up when he torqued it down. That is freaking sick. Love that. So yeah, I think that's freaking cool. And the water pump I'll put back on here, then my miles. Tensioner. This is my whole setup for vacuum for the turbo setup. Of course, Autotech Engineering alternator. Then some fittings that go on the bottom side of the intake manifold. AC compressor, oil feed line, and then oil dipstick. And then look how dirty the cover is here. Look at that. I mean, it is disgusting. And then my exhaust manifold and parts are down here. I just put them here so I can bolt that up too. I just want to get it tumbled and cleaned, just because it looks a little rough. But no, it's not necessary, and the car will get fired up here soon. So let's go ahead and put the engine mounts on. I got a couple other parts to put on first, and then go from there. So just a couple things real quick. Engine mounts on, put in the knock sensors here and here. These are Toyota studs and nuts, and then use a Bosch knock sensor so you get a lot better resolution. It's 2-wire versus a 1-wire. Went ahead and put in the plug here for the rifle drill hole, and this is your oil feed if you would have had a PBTI block. Trying to look at anything else here. Yeah, so now I got to put on the oil filter housing. And again, if you need to put one on, always put a new O-ring on. That is, whoops, that is the part number right there that goes on this side of the oil filter housing. And again, it's just one of those things that's a pain in the butt to deal with if you have to take it off, but if it's already on the car, not a big deal. And I'm also going to put the stud in. Now, let me explain this stud real quick. People tend to confuse that this stud needs to have a nut on it. All it is a guide stud. So it goes in here and guides this, so you can't, when you're tightening up this nut, it doesn't spin. Do not ever put a nut on this. As you can see here, this flange area doesn't mate with the block. So when you do that, it bends it down and these will snap. They'll snap, so don't do it. And I'm just being bougie this time around, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put a titanium one in. Put a little PTFE to like kind of hold it in there, but I was like, yeah, let's do something a little different just because why not? Put a little bougie and put it right there.
All right, so I started putting the valve covers on. With this, where's the other one at here? Again, big thank you to Powerhouse Racing. This uses a factory gasket with this, guys, and you can see I actually put it on just before I decided to get the engine rebuilt, and that's actually what came down through all this stuff. But you got to put FIPG on those corners. So where is that here? So you take some FIPG, put it on these corners here. I just had this one already open. Right there is where it's most critical, right in those corners. And I probably am putting more than you need to, but this seems to be the one area that 2Js will leak from is these corners. And no one wants oil on the fresh engine. So I'd rather have this to have to scrape off one time or eventually. And again, I put way too much on there. But I'd rather do that than have to dick around with a leak. Because leaks suck dick big time. I'm so sorry. Excuse my language. Now that I'm a father, I need to do a little bit better with my language. So I do apologize. A little bit under the weather too, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not feeling too swell. Since this doesn't have the studs anymore, I don't wanna get my goop everywhere. Do that. There we go. Start those two so I know roughly where it needs to go. And you can see here, I've got a lot of stuff from dress-up bolts still. So dress-up bolt stuff goes here. And this extra stud here is for the NA valve, or for the NA head, which we don't have today. So why do I have an extra one? That goes there. I also want to say, I really love these little things here. I'm not sure if you guys can even see this, but these are from Gear Wrench. They're little micro or tiny hex head, or I guess not cap screw style, but can't think of it. Again, I feel I'm so under the weather. That's why I'm just taking my time writing everything down and not focusing on the camera. But these have come in clutch for many small things. They are awesome. I have a ton of stuff like this. I've been going tool crazy here lately, but this is one thing from Gear Wrench that's not Snap-on or Mac that's affordable. I think I got this for like 30 bucks, but it goes from 2 up to 12, and it comes in handy. And I can just put it on these. And now again, I have in 3/8, I have long, I have stuff I think goes up to like 30. Stuff that I'll never use, but I do have it just because. And this needs to go here, here. Now, one other thing I have, because this uses the quick coil cover disconnect, which is not for coil packs, but it's just aesthetically pleasing. So this goes in here, like so. This one. The only thing I don't like about this has a washer. Not a huge fan of washers, especially anywhere near the galleyway. That's one more thing that could fall down in. Years ago, I'll talk about this real quick. I actually dropped one. Hopefully I'm not covering this up. I actually dropped one down into the cylinder head. Fired the car, had no idea. Don't know where it came from, because at the time I had nothing in there, so I'm not sure why, how. It must have been in the galleyway some way. I had friends over that day. I don't know what happened, but something happened, and yeah, it fell down in. It turned up and here, ting, 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 ting. So yeah, that was, oh my God, 2014. So 11 years ago, a long time ago, because I'm getting old now, but yeah, stupid. Just should have paid attention a little bit more, or should have checked it. Today I bought a bore scope too. And I'm using Harbor Freight ratchet right now. I've got these nice, I got these new Snap-on and slash Ulsa tool ratchets, or sorry, Mac slash Ulsa tool ratchets that are American made. But something about this comfort grip. I mean, you see I use it as a hammer. It's one of those things, you know, when you have something you're used to going to every time, it's kind of like the tool I just go to. Whether I know, again, it is a ratchet, and someone's going to say, like, why don't you spend the big boy money? I don't know. If it works, right? It's not going to affect anything crucial. Now it comes to torque wrenches. I have very nice digital torque wrenches. And even these should be torqued down. I believe it's like 6 or 5 foot-pounds. I forget what the Newton meters or inch pounds it is. But I don't have anything that goes as small currently. The one I had, it finally shit the bed. And I need to buy one because when I put the valve covers on the other engine over here for the customer car, I'm going to torque those down. But this is my engine, so something happens, not that big of a deal. But someone else's car, I don't want it coming back. You know, this car's got to go back to Illinois, and I don't want it coming back to me anytime soon. All right, so because the way those are in there too, where's this at? And I don't have to do it this way, but because I already have the predetermined height pretty well set up the way I want it. So let's just kind of do it like this. Again, you can actually put I have an extreme deep well, 10 through, or 8 through like 22. But these, I already have like the stop nut on it set up to where I need it to be. So I didn't want to mess with it. So just doing it this way, which is not the most indicative or the most, that's what I'm looking for here. Not the best way of doing it, I should say. So, and then I can only run one in the back. There's only one of these studs in the back and there's none here. And the reason for that is the way my coil packs sit with the R35s, it shoots out this side here and this gets in the way. So I have 2 in the front, 1 in the back. I haven't seen any adverse issues. Again, it's just aesthetically pleasing. This doesn't do anything else besides aesthetics. So I see no problem with it. Yeah. Don't want to go too crazy there. Go back around these and see that's why you go back around. Oops. Again, don't have to go crazy tight with these. And you should really use the factory washers. Again, aesthetically, I don't like them on that car. It's going to use new stainless bolts and it's going to use the washers. I just don't aesthetically like them. I'm okay with maintaining this and constantly, lack of better words, dicking around with it. So yeah. I do need to go get spark plugs here tomorrow, so but this just sits on here, like so actually. Pop this off real quick. That sits on there like that. What in the world? There we go. That one's there. That's that. V8 here only. Now that one might need to adjust a little bit in the back. Again, it's from the old setup. I don't know if it'll rattle. I never heard rattling or anything, but since it only has 1 in the back, yeah, I might have to adjust a little bit, but she sure does look pretty, boy. So now it's time to get the studs in. These are titanium studs, and you can see it has the Powerhouse Racing covers on it right now. I'm going to go ahead and get the manifold and everything on. These are cool, but don't need it now because I can get the manifold, do all that good stuff while it's here. Water pumps on. We got a rotator, and obviously it goes to a 20 AN neck here. Yeah. This has been on this pan since I bought this engine back in 2013. It was already welded on there, and I've always liked it because it keeps it leak free, because hers leaks, and the last 2 I've seen leaked. It's a pain in case you mess up the threads, then you're kind of, lack of better words, dicked. But as long as you treat the threads nicely, I haven't had any adverse effects yet, so I'm hoping to keep it that way. But let's get these studs in and get the manifold on. Ignore my handle just hanging there, but 13 foot-pounds is what you torque spark plugs down, just an FYI. It's either 13 or 14. I have it at 13 right now. Probably more than enough. But the book is a little bit different with this GE, GTE, than later models, newer models. It's a little bit weird because it's kind of inconsistent, but the book, I think, says 14 foot-pounds. So, yeah, don't do this either. You shouldn't let that against my engine. So I can do these things, but don't let your torque wrench sit like that. It's not good for it. Actually, I got to send this out to get calibrated here next week. It's not that old, but want to keep it within spec. So yeah, just torquing those down. Got the Autosport Engineering coil pack covers on. I went out and got new stainless bolts because it comes with steel bolts and they were rusting. You won't be able to see them, but it's just, I don't know, peace of mind for me. I just rather it be stainless steel. I don't know. All right, the Hypertune is back from Cerakote, my local gun shop for firearms. I hope I'm saying that right. It's all done. I don't know why it has like a blue hint on camera right now, or blue tint to it, but it's like a semi-gloss / flat black. This is kind of cool. Like, I had cam gears done in this and I've been pretty excited. So, the reason I wanted to do this is just because this is such a beautiful manifold and it's all perfectly machined. I'm like, I didn't want to like just powder coat it. I wanted to try something a little bit different. And I think this turned out killer. So yeah, I just, I need to finish it up here, and yeah,
Got to bolt it all up. I even did the arms for the fuel rail. Now here shows the stark difference in color though. Like there, it's like a flat black versus a gloss black. So I might have to even get the fuel rail done just because it is different, and I'm afraid that the fuel rail is going to turn color. So the reason I did this is because all the anodizing apparently from Hypertune always fades and turns like that purple color. So you can see this is got like that shine to it where it's a bright black. So I might have to, but until then, I'm not going to, but I left all the center pieces, as you can see over there, not. So I'm going to bolt it together and show you guys how it looks, but I'm pretty pumped on this. I think it's going to look pretty fucking awesome. All right, as you can see, I kind of went ham there in between, so I apologize, guys. I just wanted to get on as much as I possibly could here. There's a lot to go over here. So I am using the same turbo kit as I had before. This is the 6870 next gen turbo. I just got one of the very earliest, latest, and greatest 6870s from Powerhouse Racing, and then I wrecked the car. So I'm sticking with that. Part of me wants to go up. At the same time, the car's so responsive with this turbo, and just driving, you know, this car feels quick. The auto car there, and Tony's car's here right now. The auto car feels quick, and I'm not even, you know, pushing it as hard as I could. The car's probably making 750. I'll make another 250 than that. And again, with the roads around here, this will pretty much be perfect. Make 900 and 950. That's where these turbos seem to last. You can make 1,000, but you're pushing them really hard at that point. And again, we are sticking with the whole V-band setup. This still has Go Fast Bits wastegates on it, which have done me no wrong. Some of the anodizing gets faded on all this stuff. Same with the fittings, but all that heat right there. One thing I've noticed too, you know, this is 304 stainless. 304 stainless does rust, right? It doesn't. It's not a 321. It is not a 316 medical grade type of stainless. The flange must be, because it stays perfect, but again, doesn't matter. I digress. We're sticking with the Mac valve bolted on here, coming up and over. Now running the lines in between, since they're stainless, just gives a nice tucked look. So when we look at front, looks pretty cool. Using a straight fitting off here, and it works just perfect. I heat wrap the whole hose, and it comes down here. Now, yes, it does have a bend, but it's already coming down to this point here where it'd be shooting into the pan. So I don't think that hurts anything. At least I didn't notice anything. This is self-exciting, so you see there's no plug for this. It's kind of a unique little setup. I've liked it that way. Now, when I do build harnesses, I always include a factory plug just in case. So if you do need to go back to it, we can, but I don't need it for this, and it makes it kind of nice when you're pulling it on and off. You don't have to worry about it. I do have a billet. This is actually one thing. It's not for PHR. This is old school. This came from an Australian company. They were the first one to do this, and the first one to actually have a bronze bushing in it back in 2013 or 14. That's how old this is. It has to be 13 or 14 because I got this back when I lived in a townhouse. So there's that setup. I do have the billet timing gear here, which is Powerhouse Racing. We have a Branger's Racing belt, so the belt doesn't skip off. 36 and 2 sensor. We are using a PHR gear set, as you can see, and then this is for the e-power steering. So yes, we are going electric power steering, so no pump as you see it. This is how it goes, which makes me kind of happy. Easier to get up under here now. And here you can see the manifold. It doesn't quite match all this, but the more I looked into Cerakote, it really has me intrigued because it doesn't scratch. Like, it's meant for guns, it's meant for heat. You can use brake cleaner directly on it. It's pretty amazing. Again, it doesn't hide any details, where powder coat is nice for the fact that if you have something that's not perfect, it'll hide the details. It shows everything, which I do like. Put a brand new Bosch throttle body on it because I'm like, why not? Why we're here. The fuel rail already came anodized, so leave that as is. And yeah, valve covers are on. We've got the coil packs inside of it there. On this side here, we are using the Powerhouse Racing plate. This allows for me to see crankcase pressure. I use the NA filter housing. The reason I do that is because when you pull the filter off, if you have it directed at the block, it drips oil down no matter what you do. This allows me to, when I change the oil, I shove towels up under it and then pull the filter off. I don't like the relocation. Personally, I like being able to have room here. It sits right in the way here if you're trying to pull the starter. Again, not the end of the world, but less is more. If I change the oil twice a year, all I got to do is reach down. I have all the room in the world, put my arm up under, shove towels in here, it drips on the towel, pull this out, throw it in the trash, put the new one on, throw the towels away. You know, I spend $1 extra every time I change an oil by using towels. Don't see the problem there. Powerhouse Racing freeze plugs, they press right in. Second time we're using them here. We have a Raceworks map sensor here, and then I have a bunch of Raceworks fittings. This is for the blow-off valve. 4AN, we're using a regular MPT 90 that goes up here, which will go to our fuel pressure, which is going to be direct off the back of the fuel rail. Freight Engineering is making a custom fitting, so I can use my direct mount regulator because I just love those things. And then this right here is a 6AN to a 6AN 90. This will allow me to adapt to my I think it's Raceworks, or maybe it might be Red Horse. valve that goes to the brake booster. Now, I've really been debating going to no brake booster, but I'm waiting for Alex over at Absolute Driven Performance to get his setup finished to see how he feels about it, because it's one less thing to worry about, one less line, like just less everything. No bladder to worry about, but that is also made by Chase Bays, which, at times, One thing I had to do is, this is the Freed Engineering dipstick, which should go straight up, but we had to go over. I even talked to Billy. He hasn't ran into this because this is the small runner. Sorry for talking so fast. I've got limited time, so I apologize. This is the small runner Hypertune. So for some reason, Hypertune has 3 pegs on the big runner, so it runs a peg here, here, and here. On the small runner, it just uses 2. Know why they changed that on them? It's just wild to me, but whatever. So I have to kind of snake it up, bend the bracket a certain way, and it bolts here now. I don't think it's going to be an issue. This is all low pressure. If I have to, I'll put some PTFE around the base of this to keep it from leaking, but that should be the worst of it. Bosch knock sensors we got here, and then a bunch of dress-up bolts per usual. Dress-up bolts, and then dress-up bolts all over. So that's pretty much the engine, guys. And that's pretty much what I wanted to go over with you today. Some Powerhouse Racing hoses. I should show that. And you can barely see it here, but Powerhouse Racing is coming out with this new hard pipe that comes underneath the header. So no longer do you have to use an NA pipe and weld it or do it. It'll bolt right up to their hoses, fits right up to the engine, and it's designed right now for the GT block. We just tested with the GE for that. They're going to need like a little bracket or something. They're going to work with it, but it'll all come together. So no longer do you need to modify or do anything. It just bolts right up. Guys, I've been going ham here lately, so I apologize. I'm trying to work as fast as I can. I haven't posted a video in forever. It's just that got the green customer car, which a video is coming for that. Tony's car had to come back right here. He just had a few issues after the dyno, so it's all ready for cruise week. He's actually picking it up tomorrow. And the silver car, the auto car, is outside. My car is at paint still. It's the whole situation. It's almost done. It's so close. And then, yeah, I can start putting that together. So I'm trying not to take any more work on. I might have a blue super coming here, though, just before that, just so I can knock it out quick and get him up and running for summer. We will see. But, guys, check out the hats online. I already showed you guys at the beginning of the video. Help a brother out. Buy some hats. Help me support the things I do. Come on. Help a brother out and buy some cool hats. All right, guys, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.